Hello there folks, welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash. I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development and personal grooming. And of course today is Christmas Day, so let me be one of the first people that you'll meet online, hopefully, who will wish you the most Merry Christmas that you could possibly have and a fruitful, healthy and wonderful New Year. Now you've joined me today where you might have expected to, because this is where I've been for the last 4 years, and I'm up at Oak Lodge, which is my winter retreat, my sort of rural place of solitude. And it's actually a very upbeat and cheerful place on Christmas Day, because over the years I've built some wonderful memories here, shared them with you over this is the 4th time I've been here at Oak Lodge, and today I'm going to have a Christmas dinner again. Now don't worry, this year I am not going to subject you to having to watch me making a wreath for the door of Oak Lodge. I've just taken one of the decorations from outside or inside and placed it on the outside. So I'm not going to get myself sort of lots of injuries with messing around with the holly this year, because I'm more interested in having a wonderful dinner. And I'm going to show you what we're going to have for dinner today, whilst my cooker is just coming up to speed behind me. It's going to be a nice easy lunch today. Let me just get my other camera out so I can show you what we're having directly. So here we go. Let's just get ourselves running. Right, so this is going to be our Christmas dinner today. So first of all, vegetables, and I don't know whether you love them or not, but I'm a fan of sprouts. I also like carrots and parsnips and potatoes. I've just got another one to chop up there, as you can see, with my trusty bushcraft knife. It's good for cooking, it's good for lighting fires. You need a good bushcraft knife. Got a little bit of olive oil there that I'm about to use. And instead of a turkey joint or anything like that, this year I've gone for the easy route and I'm going to have turkey sausages. So there you go. That is going to be our Christmas dinner in just a little while, because my sort of cooking area is just coming up to temperature. So while we wait for that to come up to temperature, and just before I get everything on the stove, I'm going to tell you a story about how easy we have it at Christmas time compared to other people who are off on adventures and historical sort of rip-roaring yarns which fill us perhaps with inspiration and motivation in the world today. Because a year ago, I told you a story about an Antarctic explorer, and tragically, that story ended in the death of the adventurer. But today, it's a little bit different. So let's go and have a little chat about how easy we have it today. Okay then folks, well, as I say, dinner's on, and as you can probably hear, it's looking good. However, in true British style, it is not snowing, it is starting to rain. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy myself. So I'm going to have a little dram of whiskey, nothing fancy, just a little bit of famous grouse, a little tap of that in there. It'll keep the elements at bay. Keep it nice and warm by the fire, makes it all the more enjoyable. So first of all, I'm going to give you a cheers for Christmas Day, a little toast. Oh, a warm whiskey. Actually, it's really nice. So, whilst dinner is cooking, I'm going to tell you the story of people who appreciated food a little bit more than the feast that we're about to appreciate. Because when you go without, it makes you really enjoy the food and appreciate things that you get when it comes your way. And I'm going to take you back in time. And I'm going to stay on the theme of last year, because if you recall, it was an Antarctic explorer who we encountered last year. But this year, we're going to the same part of the world, and I'm taking you back to November 1902, the British National Antarctic Expedition, when 3 men, Captain Robert Falcon Scott, Edward Wilson, and Ernest Shackleton, were undertaking their attempt on the South Pole. They didn't make the South Pole on that occasion, but let me tell you something of their story. And the reason I can do this is because Ernest Shackleton, who is one of my all-time favourites, true hero, adventurer and explorer, left quite extensive notes, and of course men were big journalists back then. So when they were out on the ice of the Antarctic, they kept a journal so we could enjoy their stories of their adventures 120 years hence. So what do I know? Well, Ernest, Captain Scott and Edward Wilson, who they called Bobby, I believe, were on their expedition. And they reached their furthest point south, or as close as they were going to get to the South Pole, on the 30th of December 1902, having commenced their expedition in November. And they were experiencing all of the privations that the Antarctic continent can throw your way, which included severe blizzards, extreme fatigue, frostbite and snow blindness. And I'm just going to read something of the journal of Ernest Shackleton, which gives us an impression of their adventures. So, Christmas Eve, all right, the 24th of December 1902, Shackleton wrote, "Did 8 miles by sledgeometer. More hungry than ever today, but tomorrow we shall be full, I hope, and then we will be hungry until February." Because obviously the guys on their expeditions, they had to man-haul or carry all of the food which they were going to eat. So it was not an easy endeavour, because the more food you take, the more you've got to carry. It's an exhausting, fatigue-inducing situation to be in. And they were constantly fighting against the need to get enough calories in their body for the amount of food they could eat, the amount of food they could carry. So they were looking forward to December the 25th, Christmas Day, because they knew that it would be a time where they would have a little bit extra, a few more rations on that day. So Christmas Day dawns on December 1902. And Shackleton writes, "A beautiful day, the warmest we have had yet, clear blue sky, with bacon mixed with biscuits for breakfast, topped up with a spoonful of blackberry jam. Then I set the camera and we took some photographs with the Union Jack flying and our sledge flags. I managed to arrange this by connecting a piece of rope line to the lever to take the photo. So you can't just set the timer, it's a bit of an engineering feat just to take a selfie back in 1902. Where are we? Then 4 hours of solid march. We had a hot lunch. I was the cook. We had bovril, chocolate and biscuit. 2 spoonfuls of jam each. Grand is what he describes that as. So a little bit of a treat. Then another 3 hours of march before we camped for the night. I was cook and took 35 minutes to cook 2 pannikins of ration. Now a pannikin is an enamelled mug just like this. So they had 2 of these full of their rations. So this is the sort of sledging rations which they have pre-prepared. Apparently it's not very nice tasting at all. With biscuit in the hooch, or hoosh as they call it. So hoosh is an all-in stew that they make. They throw the biscuit and anything else in there as well. Then I boiled a plum pudding and made cocoa. I must of course own up that I boiled the plum pudding in the water that I boiled the cocoa in for economy's sake. So, just to even get water is quite a challenge when you're on the polar ice, because to create water you have to melt ice and it's a hard done endeavour. The other 2 chaps did not know about the plum pudding. It only weighed 6 ounces and I had stowed it away in my socks, in brackets, clean socks, in my sleeping bag with a little piece of holly. It was a glorious surprise to them, that plum pudding, and when I produced it, they immediately got out their emergency ration of brandy so as to set it on fire in proper style. We turned into bed really full tonight. And it goes to show, doesn't it? We take for granted the feasts that we are about to eat or have eaten already today. But these guys, a tiny, what was it? A 6-ounce plum pudding brought them to euphoria. And this was another example of the magnificent leadership of Ernest Shackleton, that he had thought in advance to stow away this little plum pudding in his clean socks, in his sleeping bag, and then produced it on Christmas Day to lift the spirits of the guys who are already malnutritioned, and absolutely exhausted. And to give you an idea of the challenges they faced, on Boxing Day, he says, "Similar weather, but we only managed 5 miles today. Billy's right eye was so bad that we camped in the afternoon. The poor chap suffered agony all afternoon in spite of the temporary relief we were able to give him by giving him our cocaine. He bore it very well though. It was pitiful. He had to lie there shaking with pain while we could do nothing for him. I had to kill Brownie the dog today to feed the other dog. He had no trouble though. I dispatched him quickly as I managed to get his heart on my first stab." Now that really brings into context the times that people lived in when they were adventuring the world as they did. So I'm going to sit here and enjoy my sort of rest just for a little while whilst dinner continues to cook. I'm going to have this little dram of whiskey. I'm going to think of Sir Ernest and Captain Scott and Mr. Wilson as they spent their Christmas Day trudging inexorably across the ice. I'm pleased to say they all survived that expedition. Of course, it wouldn't be the case for all of those individuals. In fact, all of them met their demise in the Southern Hemisphere, but at a later time. So let's not reflect upon negativity. As I enjoy my drink, I just want to say I hope you're all enjoying a wonderful Christmas Day, whether you're a follower of the Christian religion or not, because I think whatever your religious persuasion, it is a time that we get to come together in a little bit of comfort and joy amongst family and friends. And as I feel I'm amongst family and friends here with you today, I'm about to enjoy my feast very shortly. And I'm just going to take this minute to reflect that I'm amongst nature, amongst friends, shortly to be amongst my family. And I'm just grateful to be alive and enjoying this wonderful moment. So come back and join me for dinner shortly, and I'll share with you my feast. Well folks, all the work is done, and as you know, on your Christmas Day, this is the enjoyable part, where you get to sit down and savour the fruits of your work. And for me, sprouts, carrots, parsnips, potatoes, and that interesting, never tried it before, but I've got a little bit of cranberry sauce to go on my turkey sausage. Give it a try. Very nice. Hints of turkey, indeed. So I'm going to enjoy my Christmas dinner and my little dram of whiskey next to a fire, keeping warm, basking in the glow of this wonderful day and all of those who share it with me. I'd like to thank you all very much for coming on the journey towards Chap Nirvana with me today on Christmas Day, but over the last 4+ years that the channel has been in operation. Now, I'm laying on a lot of extra content over this festive period up here from Oak Lodge to hopefully fill your festive period with a little bit more enrichment, enlightenment, entertainment, wherever you want to find. So I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to enjoy my Christmas dinner, and I'm going to wish you the very best of the festive season on your continued journey to Chap Nirvana and for this special day. So until the next time, take care, and I will see you again very soon.